The worst emotions that you can live in are fear and guilt. Fear and guilt are like that, you know. On a real, like, I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? When you live in fear and when you live in guilt, and guilt is an emotion that is very closely tied to shame. And shame says I am broken, there's something wrong with me innately, I'm not worthy, there I'm broken, I need fixing, blah blah. Guilt says I've always done something wrong, I'm always guilty of something, I've always, like, you're always looking at someone to tell you, yeah, you did this wrong, or you're always looking at someone to validate you and give you permission to say, hey, yeah, you're doing a good job. And here's the thing, the longer you stay in the energy of fear and guilt, the more you're setting yourself up to literally fail, in the sense that you're setting yourself up to create more opportunities in life that make you feel guilty. Because when you are in fear, or especially, let's talk about guilt right now, right? When you're in guilt, basically energetically, there is no balance. There's something called excess potential, and you're creating it, which means that you're saying, in reality, in nature, everything is balanced, everything is equal, no one thing is better than the other on an energetic level, okay? And in its natural essence, when you're being guilty, when you're constantly saying, I'm down here, I'm down here, I'm down here, what's going to happen to balance that out? Because life is always looking to balance unbalanced forces out, okay? So you're creating excess potential, and excess potential, the law of that is that anything that is out of balance, this potential will do anything, life will do anything to restore it to balance. Now, in your case, when you're feeling guilty, when you're feeling bad, you're just given more and more reasons to stay in that guilty energy, to literally constantly feel freaking guilty all the time. Even God says, like, when you come to me with a mountain of sins, I'm gonna forgive you, you're forgiven when you ask for repentance. But what happens with most of us is that we may even seek forgiveness, but we don't forgive ourselves. So we live these lives where we're perpetually, chronically feeling guilty. And a person who's always feeling guilty is always going to attract people who mirror that back to them. So you might attract narcissists, and you might attract controlling people, you might attract abusive people, you might attract people who invalidate your emotions. You will attract exactly what you fear. And I have had so many people like that. In fact, I was a people like that, where I used to feel so guilty that, oh, like, something's wrong with me. And, like, I messed up and I did this. And by the way, taking accountability and feeling guilty all the time are two very different things. You can take accountability for the mess ups you've had, right? Like, that is not the point over here. When you take accountability, when you mess up, heck yeah, like, correct that. But don't stay in that guilty energy of, like, oh shit, like, because if you feel guilty, you're saying that I deserve to be punished for my crimes, whatever your crimes you think you are. Life does not care what you think you're guilty of. But if you're radiating an energy that says you're guilty, you will constantly be presented with opportunities to pay the price, to balance the scales. But until you forgive yourself, until you let go of the guilt, you're not going to be able to get out of that. And just like that, like, whatever you fear, like, for example, I used to fear that, oh, like, I'm not good enough, or like, I'm going to be abandoned, blah, blah, blah. Life brought those people to me. But life didn't send those people to punish me. But those experiences kept happening to me. I kept getting abandoned. I kept meeting people who would assert their control on me, and tell me that, hey, you're not good enough, you need to change the very essence of who you are, because that is what I believed about myself. And I would get so worked up and so mad at these people, but the truth was that I needed to fix my shit. I needed to forgive myself. I needed to validate myself. I needed to feel worthy within, because unless and until I didn't feel that, I would never be able to attract anything different. And that is what kept happening. My whole life, I used to attract people who came in and told me, you're not good enough. You're not worthy. They wouldn't even blatantly have to say it, right? But it was their energy, was how they would treat me, and it was how they would make me feel. And the only reason I was able to feel that way was because it was already in my own field. Why am I telling you this? Because a lot of times we get so hung up on the external, right? We get so hung up on you, this person, you're supposed to treat me better, and you're supposed to treat me better, and you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do that. By the way, this, a little detour, but these, if you like coffee, bro, you should get this. This is like this chocolate, right? It's an espresso shot in a chocolate. Chef's kiss. Anyways, we get so hung up on blaming other people, right? But those people, they may be the source that triggers that wound in you. They may be the person that shines a light on whatever it is, wherever it is that you're hurting, but they're not the cause of your pain. Because if for example, someone comes up to me and says, I freaking hate your blue skin, Anna, I'd be like, my blue scarf? They'd be like, your blue skin. And I know I don't have blue skin, right? So what am I going to say? Frick you, why'd you say that? Like, like, I hate you, blah, blah, you trigger me, blah. No, I'm gonna be like, bro, I don't have blue skin. Are you tripping, dog? No, and if they say 20 times a day, I hate your blue skin, Anna, am I going to be pissed at them? Am I going to be mad at them? Am I going to be crying my eyes out because this guy said, I hate your blue skin? No, I will laugh at his face, right? Because I don't have that in my own field. I know that I'm so solid in myself that I know I don't have freaking blue skin. But when we are not that solid in ourselves and someone comes in and says, I hate your blue skin, and you're already feeling insecure, you're already feeling like, oh my God, do I have blue skin? What's going to happen? You're going to be like, hey guy, you're the problem. You should not be making me feel this way, but nobody can make you feel any type of way that you don't make yourself feel. Mark my freaking words. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a coach or whatever. I'm saying this because this is exactly what I experienced in my life. Like, I firsthand experienced the difference it made in my life when I stopped treating myself all the ways that I was accusing other people of treating me. I was like, you make me feel unworthy, but I make me feel unworthy. You don't understand me. I didn't understand me. When you're pointing fingers at other people, take a step back and go like, okay, well, I do feel triggered right now, but what is it about their behavior? What is it teaching me about myself? What am I believing to feel something about that? Because you cannot feel an emotion about something that you don't have a belief about. So if they're saying something to you, ask yourself, what about this feels so heavy to me? Where does that come from? Dig deeper over there, because that's your answer. Because when you let go of it from there, nobody can say anything to even like make you flinch, babe. Today someone can come to me and be like, oh, you're not worthy, and I'd be like, okay, I don't have blue skin, dog. But 2 years ago, I'd be crying my eyes out. I said, please like me. Please, I need your approval. No, I don't anymore, because I did the inner work. I did what I needed to do to integrate that. And dude, if you want to learn that, if you want to learn how do you actually change what is going on in your external world, how can you make reality look exactly the way that you want it to be? Because most of us, we know what we don't want, but what do you want? Like, sit and ask yourself, okay, I don't like how these people treat me. How would I like to be treated instead? And if you want to activate that energy and you want to do it for absolutely no price, but the price of your time, there's the link below of my free workshop that is happening on 1st Feb, 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be 3 freaking hours. I have created an entire workbook for you guys. There's going to be a meditation. It is, I'm so excited about it because this is the stuff that took me years to learn. Like 3.5 years condensed into 3 hours of exactly what works, because I first applied it on my own life. And obviously I've worked with hundreds of clients at this point, and I've done a lot of different trainings at corporates and hospitals and universities and schools and wherever the frick I could find a mic and a stage. But I love this work and I want it to be so accessible for everyone. So I created this formula called the Zero BS Manifestation Method. And it's not just manifestation because people think manifestation is about getting this thing, but I'm about real transformation. I'm about changing your storyline, dog. I'm about taking you from the underdog to being the absolute freaking main character in your life because that's who we all are. We all are the freaking main characters of our lives. And you know what's funny is that I started like when I reprogrammed that belief in myself, people would say that to me, Anna, you're like the main character. And I'd be like, yeah, I am. You know, one of my friends said to me, he's like, you're like the anchor being in this timeline. And I was like, you know what? I am. So if you want to live with that energy, and when you live with that energy, the world reflects it back to you. People will literally bar for bar say to you what you say to yourself. Don't take my word for it. Apply it in your own life. Sign up for this absolutely free webinar. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, babe. I love you and I will see you there. Mwah.